What is going on, YouTube? DanCT860 here. Excited to bring you a deck profile of my current build of heroes that I took to locals Sunday. Yeah, Sunday yesterday. It's Monday today, and it's hot as hell, and that's why if you hear some noise, it's most likely the fan, other than my voice that you're hearing right now. This is the hero build that I top with. Once again at my locals, very skilled players, very competitive matches that I went through. I went 4-1. For the life of me, I can't remember what the hell I faced, honestly. They were all different, but they did so well. Like, everything did something good. What did I go against first? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. I can't remember what I went with first. Second was a Shadal variant of some sort with the Star Ceros, and it had that new ritual monster that had effects for flip monsters. I don't know. It was really interesting to see. He never got it out on me, though, which was really good. So, and I really can't remember any of my matches except my loss. My loss was to Clifford's, and then I actually beat another Clifford player after that. Yeah, I think in this type of build, this deck really bounces back against Clifford's. The match I lost to, he won game 1. I pretty much I don't want to say bricked, but he had answers to my monster's effects and everything, and I couldn't really go off. Round 2, I wiped his board with Ab-Zero into Acid. It was just a complete blowout, and swept him after that. It was so awesome. And then game 3, I completely bricked. I kept drawing into spells and traps and nothing that would help me at the time. And I couldn't stall out long enough to get something that mattered. So let's just get into the build and explain why I ran some stuff after that. This is for the ARG Banlist, as you can see. I am planning to go to Providence this weekend, and I'm most likely am going to run with this build, and I'll explain to you why at the end of the video. So, sweep through this real quick. 3 Shadow Mist, 3 Blaze Man, 1 Bubble Man. Oh gosh, it got blurry. 1 Stratos. Let's see if we can focus this. Alright. 2 Summoner Monk and 2 Template Goldfish. 3 Match Change, 3 Miracle Fusion, 3 A Hero Lives, 3 Polymerization, 2, did I say 3? I meant 2. 2 Forbidden Lance, 2 Mystical Space Typhoons, and 1 Regeki. Then you got the 3 Chains, 3 Call of Haunteds, 2 Torrential Tributes, and then 1 Compulse, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Solemn, 1 Bottomless. Yeah, so this is the build I ran. Let's focus in there again, guy. Come on. Alright, that's good enough, I guess. Everything flowed really well. I decided to try this build out because with just the normal mass change build, it's still decent. Like, Dark Law does what it does. It's just a complete blowout card itself. But like I said in my previous video, if you run through your resources, your heroes, and your mass change has nothing to go into because you've got 3 to the 2 good searches that you got, it's really just really bad, honestly. In this build, you got 3 extra names, and you don't have to run the alias like I did in my last build. And most of the time, this was my major playmaker, because he would dump Shadow Mist turn 1. This is what I would always go into if I had a Rhoda in hand and no monsters. He is what I would go to. Not even Stratos. Stratos was not the first person I would go to. I would go to Blaze Man, because you could dump the Shadow Mist, add the Stratos, and then after that, after the next turn, you could just summon your Stratos, add another monster, which would I go for Bubble Man after that, and then you still have more targets in the grave, in your deck for your Shadow Mist more later. and that was just really important to the flow of the deck. It was really consistent at what it did. I was really impressed with it. I took basically this build from Carlos Talamantes. You can search him up on YouTube. He's got his most recent top was San Jose Regional, I think it was. It was about a month ago, I think, or so. And he ran 3 Blaze Man and 3 Shadow Mist and 3 Bubble Man because it's the TCG. So I just took his idea basically of running 3 Blaze Man. For the longest time, I've always played around with like 2 to 1. But 3 is actually key because if you want to see him early on because he is your playmaker. The Tinplate Goldfish, since you lost 2 Bubble Man, I felt you needed at least 1, if not 2, water targets to go for your Miracle Fusion or Polymerization Ab-Zero plays, and that was just, it was really key. This could still get out your Stratos and won't miss timing like Goblinberg will, and you could still use this for your Shadow Mist to get your Mass Change. It was complete blowout. It was awesome to have that. I didn't see it a lot. Of course, it's not searchable by Rota or anything, but when I did, it was useful for when I did. The only times I really did see it is when in my starting hands, which that's exactly where you want to see it. So I didn't have any complaints about that at all. 3 Miracle Fusions, max out on the most unfair cards, as Carlos Talamantes puts it. If you rip this when you're in a losing state, summoning an Ab-Zero off of this, it just can get you back on track until you could just, stall out as long as you can. I did that most of the time. I was lucky enough to have more resources than just 0 cards in hand when I did actually rip this. So I can go into other plays. Like, I would have like a monster in hand that would definitely not do anything in a poly, rip the Miracle Fusion, summon Ab-Zero, poly, wipe their board and attack, and it would just work out just fine. The 3 Mass Changes, of course, because it's a really key card. You need the Dark Law to get over Rogue and basically most of the meta, basically. Still 2 Lances and 2 MSTs. I think that's a good ratio. Before this, I was actually running 3 MSTs and a Book of Moon, but I felt Book of Moon in this format is really not that needed. The only thing it's really good against is like Burning Abyss, and there was a Burning Abyss player, but I didn't go against him. He didn't do as well as I was doing, but he was doing pretty well. I just never got to face him. The Rikeki is Rikeki. I figured to max out on effect negation for sure. I was thinking about breakthrough skill in this deck, but I thought of it. As it would kind of neg me in the long run, because this could actually protect my monsters at the same time as an effect negation. I've only got MST'd on this twice on important plays, but I don't see it. I didn't ever see that moment ever, really saving me anyways. I maxed out on Call of Haunted because since you're dumping your Shadow Mist a lot, you really want to reborn it, or maybe your Stratos a lot. If anything, this made the Blaze Man play much better, because I won so many games when I would dump him first turn, dump Shadow Mist first turn with Blaze Man at a Stratos. End of their turn comes around, they didn't do much. Call of Haunted, Shadow Mist, get the Mass Change. Next turn, draw. They have set back row, summon this, pop some back row, and I would hit like the important cards that they wanted to keep, and it was just blowout after that. I really literally won most of my games after resolving his popping effect. Almost every time I wanted to search with him, it was negated or destroyed, and I was just like so surprised that popping effect really did so much work. It was so bad to the point where I realized like maybe Stratos is worthy of being banned, but I don't want him to be banned ever. The 2 Torrential was absolutely amazing in the Clifford matchup. It just allowed me to stall out more. How I beat most of my Clifford matches was if I drew into too many traps, this would be the stall out cards along with the Solemn Warning, because I would torrential their, if they would summon at least 2 monsters, that's when I would torrential. Then they would do their pendulum plays and bring out at least 3 monsters. If I had the second torrential there. By the time where their pendulums are so loaded, that's when I played the Solemn Warning and then sends it to the grave. They don't have any more pendulums. Oh, my bad. And same thing with Bottomless. They don't have any more pendulums. So pretty much everything was pretty solid in the main board. I don't think I would make any changes. If anything, I did want to play MST at 3, but the times where I top deck this when I was out of resources and needed a serious top deck, it was just so bad. I probably don't want to bump this up at all. So that's my main board. Let's go on to, and sorry for that cutout. I'm pretty sure I didn't finish my sentence that last few seconds there, but this is my extra deck. Let's just sweep through it real quick. 2 Dark Law, 1 Enki, 1 Acid, 1 Divine Wind, 2 Nova Master, and 2 Ab-Zero. For the Exceeds, 1 Gagaga Samurai, 1 101, 1 Castell, 1 Exiton, 1 Excalibur, and 1 Dweller. So, of course, the MVPs would have to be Ab-Zero mostly, and that's pretty much what I went into all the time when I needed to. I summoned this out a couple times, but it was after I wiped the board already, so like I only got his draw effect off like 3 times this tournament. So that happened. Didn't really exceed too much. If anything, I wanted to exceed into other things, maybe like a Karen Gorgon Knight. Karen Gorgon Knight is just a good play to go into when you have that template into Summoner Monk into a Shadow Mist play, so you have a Dark Law and Karen Gorgon to protect the Dark Law. I honestly was trying to figure out what I would take out for it. Nothing in this deck, main board, can take care of towers, which is why I need to keep this in. And that's basically the only reason this is still in. I think that's all I really have to say. Divine Wind as a card is just great. The only problem I have with him, he doesn't do exactly what Nova Master does. When you draw, the monster has to be sent to the grave. So under Dark Law, I'm pretty sure his effect would not go through, because it says if it destroys a monster and sends it to the grave. So that's kind of a bummer about that card, but it's still a really good card against other things like BAs, because it doesn't they only are allowed to attack once with 1 monster per battle phase, so that's really good. So for those swarming decks. So yeah, let's get into the side deck real quick. And I do not know why I keep forgetting to pause the video for the side deck switch. But you get a quick look at my playmat. So yeah, because this is, I bought this. Well, I actually traded loser turns for these, so I'm really happy I got this mat. I couldn't go to the actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Day to play and win the map, so I had to settle for trading for it. So let's go into the side deck real quick. Alright, just to speed through this, Max C and 2 Max C and 2 Flying C, 2 Fire Hands, 3 Ice Hands, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 Shared Ride, and 3 Imperial Iron Walls. before people gets on me for the Iron Walls, I know it conflicts with Dark Law, but in this build, Dark Law is not your main go-to guy. I was also side decking it in my other build, and that's just for the pure reason that Ritual Beasts are a freaking problem. This deck does not have a one single main deck answer to Ritual Beast. It's just Ritual Beast is a really, really bad matchup to go against. Divine Wind does pretty well against it, but it only needs one monster. The only thing Divine Wind really does, it doesn't let them OTK you. So that's why this is always going to be a side deck card in a format where cards that go to grave and have to banish to do something is always prevalent. So this is why Imperial Iron Walls is always in here. The Fire and Ice hands are for Teller Knights and Cliffords, along with Maxis and Flying Seas. Those are for Teller Knights as well, and Burning Abyss absolutely wrecks them. Maxi slows them down immensely. MSTs for Cliffords, you know, if you're not main decking 3 MST, you should at least be side decking them, or side decking 1, whatever your ratio. Just have 3 MSTs. The Shared Rides is for Necros because apparently it's still good. Our top 4 was 2 Necros players, and I don't know what the other guy was playing. I think I left before they finished because we decided to split 4 because they always want to split 4. So yeah, that's pretty much my build. Stick around for my final comments. I know this video is really long. Sorry about that. So anyway, guys, that was my deck. I hope you enjoyed. I would really recommend people actually give Heroes a try, really learn the deck, really become an expert with the deck. It's a great beginner deck as well. Dark Law is a huge problem. It will irritate any of the best players, I swear. Especially when you're protected from all their answers and they can't do anything. So Heroes are and always will be my favorite deck. In the future, I'm planning on letting this go for a little while just so I can play other decks and give you guys some more deck profiles, maybe more content in the future. One of the guys in my locals is really encouraging me to expand out, do some more things on my channel, so you'll probably see some more stuff, not just stuff from me, just the player base at my locals and really great things. So peace out, YouTube.